The UEFA Champions League is finally back. After almost 4 months since last season's scintillating final between Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund, the competition has returned with a complete overhaul of what we all know and love. The first round of matches are over and the 36-team league table is starting to take shape. Today we take a look at the best moments from the first 18 matches of the new Champions League season to see which teams are off to a hot start and which teams are in for a long tournament. The Champions League is back, so let's see how it's begun. To kick off the new Champions League season, we got a banger of a match between Juventus and PSV. Kenan Yildiz would go on to score a beautiful curling shot into the top right corner, making a huge statement in the new era of the Champions League. PSV would get one back in the last few seconds of the game, but it was an offensive masterclass from the Italian side. Turning our attention over to Switzerland, young boys faced off against Aston Villa and it was total domination from the English side. Goals from Tielemans, Ramsey and Onana would prove to be enough to get the 3 points in a match where the hosts were well and truly lackluster. One of the marquee matchups of the day was AC Milan taking on Liverpool, and it did not disappoint. Milan would go up early thanks to a Christian Pulisic goal, and Mohamed Salah would hit the crossbar twice, but goals from Konate, Van Dijk and Szoboszlai would seal the deal for the English side. The highlight of Matchday 1 was without a doubt Bayern Munich's 9-2 thrashing of Dinamo Zagreb. After going up 3-0 at halftime, Bayern would find their lead cut to just 1 after 2 goals from Petkovic and Ogiwara in quick succession. However, that little scare would open the floodgates for the German side as they scored 6 goals in a row, overpowering the Croatian side and getting a statement win from the get-go. My personal favorite game of the day would be Real Madrid's encounter with VfB Stuttgart. After a goalless first half, Kylian Mbappe would open his Champions League scoring for Real Madrid in the 46th minute, only to be cancelled out by Dennis Undav in the 68th minute. It was looking like a surprise result for the German side, but a goal from Rudiger in the 83rd minute and a spectacular goal from outside the box by Endrick in stoppage time would give the reigning champions the win. The last match of the day saw Sporting CP take on Lille in a rather uneventful encounter. It would be none other than Gyökeres who would get the opening goal in beautiful fashion, followed by an absolute screamer from De Bast to give the Portuguese side a comfortable 2-0 win. An electric start to the first match day, and that was only the beginning. The second day would kick off with Bologna coming up against Shakhtar. In a match where chances were few and far between, it would be the Ukrainian side who would just narrowly have more possession but couldn't convert any of their chances into goals. Sparta Prague and Salzburg's clash would be much more entertaining as the home side got off to a very hot start. An early goal from Kyronen, a beautiful volley from Olatunji and an empty net goal for Lazio would seal the deal for the Czech side, while the visiting Austrian side were left speechless. Shifting our attention over to Scotland, Celtic's 5-1 thrashing of debutant Slovan Bratislava would see the day's highest scoring match with 6 goals. Despite a beautiful goal from Wimmer in the 60th minute, the visitors had no answers for a very impressive Celtic side as they came away with a commanding victory. The best match of the day would be Club Brugge versus Dortmund, which was stuck in a deadlock for almost 75 minutes. Seemingly out of nowhere, substitute Jamie Gittins would score 2 goals in a remarkable fashion before Guirassy added a penalty in the last few moments of the game, giving Dortmund a deserving 3-0 win. The most anticipated match of the day would be a rematch of the 2023 final between Manchester City and Inter Milan, but it was very disappointing. Chances at both ends of the field would amount to almost nothing as both sides would come away with 1 point each. Finally, the last match of the day would see PSG come up against Girona, and what a confusing match this was. PSG would come away with 26 total shots as they put enormous pressure on the Spanish side's defense, only to score after a blunder from goalkeeper Gazzaniga in the 90th minute, giving the French side a 1-0 win. Overall, these 6 matches weren't anything too crazy, and there will be a lot to take away from each of the 12 sides. The final 6 matches of the first match day were more than exciting as Feyenoord kicked off the day by hosting a very impressive Leverkusen side. Florian Wirtz would get his first Champions League goals in the 5th and 36th minute, followed by a Grimaldo goal in the 30th minute and an own goal just before halftime. Absolute domination from the German champions. Taking our attention over to Serbia, Red Star faced off against Benfica, and what a cracking game it was. Akhtar Koglu opened the scoring for the Portuguese side, followed by an absolutely beautiful free kick goal from Kokchu and a late consolation goal from Milson for the hosts. Benfica were very impressive in this match and they could be a force to be reckoned with moving forward. The only draw of the day would come in the Atalanta versus Arsenal match as goalkeeper David Raya made an incredible double save from the penalty spot to deny the Italians their opening goal. It was a rather poor performance from the English side and far from the ideal start for them. One of the more entertaining games of the day would be Atletico Madrid's clash with Leipzig, which started with a goal from Šeško in the 4th minute that came out of nowhere. Griezmann would tie it up in the 28th minute, followed by some late game heroics from Jimenez that gave the hosts the 2-1 victory. Both teams were great to watch and could go deep in this tournament. The game that flew under everyone's radar was the matchup between Brest and Sturm Graz, which was actually quite eventful. A beautiful goal from Magnetti opened the scoring for the French side, followed by an own goal from Fernandez in the 45th minute and a winner from Sima in the 56th minute. Not a bad watch for 2 evenly matched sides. The final game of the day was the highly anticipated matchup between Monaco and Barcelona. Garcia would see a straight red card in the 10th minute after a brutal error from Ter Stegen, giving the Spanish side an early disadvantage. It would be Akliouche who would open the scoring in the 16th minute, followed by a beautiful goal from Lamine Yamal in the 28th minute. Yenny Kenna would get the game winner in the 71st minute as the Spanish side came away with a defeat after a very poor performance. A very eventful way to close out matchday 1 of the new and revamped Champions League. It is still very early on and much too soon for the league table to be taking shape, but let's take a look at it anyways. Bayern Munich lead the way in first place after a very impressive win over Dinamo. Celtic, Leverkusen and Villa make up the top 4, followed closely by Dortmund, Sparta Prague, Liverpool and Juventus to round out the top top 8. The rest of the table is all over the place, but notable names like Inter, Man City, Barcelona, and Leipzig all failed to pick up wins on their first match day. AC Milan have a long way to go after the first game, while Salzburg, Feyenoord, and Dinamo Zagreb have their work cut out for them after some of the most disappointing showings on the first day. The league table is going to take a while to get used to, and with 7 more games to go, there's plenty of changes left to come. But what did you think of Matchday 1 in the Champions League? Did it live up to your expectations, or do you want to see more from certain teams? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more football content, tier lists, and everything in between, and as always, I'll catch you next time.